Hey, hi. Hello, everybody. Things are looking a little different. You might have seen... Well, actually, let me scoot a little over here. You may have seen Alex in that photo. Well, shit happens sometimes. So Alex could not make it, so hi, it's just gonna be me, Josh Stinson, the stream czar, also known as the associate video editor, if you want to use my actual real title, not the one that sounds cooler. So instead, I'm just gonna replace Alex. We have a plank of wood. We got a box of purple gaff tape. Hi, Alex. So, before we get into doing our usual shit we do here, something we're going to be doing every week now is something we call the Mayhem Minute. Every week we're going to give you a little update on the game we're working on, Agents of Mayhem, that we announced a few weeks ago and have been shown off at E3. This week, there's not too much going on. You know, we were at E3, so we showed off a little bit of gameplay footage for the game, just a little bit of the basic combat. We streamed that for Twitch, IGN, GameSpot, Square Enix, and Sony, I believe. Some of those are up already that you can watch. Mike Watson, our community developer, he should have a link for the Twitch. Jason Blair, our lead writer for the game, did yesterday with Twitch. We should have that up on our YouTube channel that is called VolitionTube, youtube.com/VolitionTube. And yeah, on top of that, in the next couple of weeks, we'll be giving out some more info on AOM. We're going to have some more videos showing some of the other stuff going on in the game outside of just the basic combat. We're going to show a little bit more of the crazy open world shit that you can do. Probably going to show some of the schemes that can happen, some of the super villain schemes. There's actually one of those already shown just a teeny tiny bit in the footage that's out right now. Yeah, thank you, Mike, for posting a link. Maybe I'll actually make that an annotation in this video too on YouTube. But there was a little bit of the a big fucking crazy orb thing that's throwing physics objects all around and stuff. I don't know if I can say what that thing's called yet, Mike. But yeah, that was a part of a scheme that can happen in the open world. So hopefully, in the next couple of weeks, a new video will be out that'll detail some of that stuff. I'm excited to show it just because people wonder what I do. I also work on video stuff aside from these streams, so when you see videos of the game and stuff, I'm involved in that in some manner, either capturing or editing or something like that. And aside from AOM stuff that was happening, we also have a little bit of Saints Row stuff going on. The clothing SDK and the Steam Workshop support for Saints Row 4, it's getting like some bugs taken care of, and it should be releasing pretty soon. I don't know the exact date. Maybe Mike can post that in the chat. But yeah, soon is what I hear for that stuff. And yeah, if you tune in to our stream every single week, we'll be doing a little bit more of the Mayhem Minute, talking about new stuff with the game or recapping stuff that's happened with Agents of Mayhem over the past week. I plan to bring in other people from the studio in here every once in a while to show off stuff with the game, either stuff they're working on or stuff they want to show off. So yeah, stay tuned for that stuff. And I'm going to make a little bit of a cut here because we're also going to be posting these Mayhem Minute things separately, I believe, if you can confirm that, Mike, so that you can just check these out too if you just missed like the opening bits for our stream. But yeah, it's weird working on a video game, you guys. I've never done that before until now, so pretty fucking neat. And yeah, on top of me being here on the stream, as always, we have Mike Watson, our community developer, moderating the chat, being a cool dude, answering your questions. So yeah, if you have any other questions, just ask him. He's the good source. And yeah, with that, you guys, what do you feel about Resident Evil? Me personally, I love all Resident Evil, all flavors of them for the most part, although I will say I haven't played a couple of the like weird Outbreak ones, the ones that were like online, but they didn't tell you which players were AI or real life players. But aside from just enjoying Resident Evil 4 specifically is one, just a great game, but in my personal opinion, one of the greatest games of all time. If you watch my stuff separate from what I do here, I talk about this game all the fucking time. So I figured, hey, I should probably actually play the game at some point. So here we go. My first excuse to actually play some Resident Evil 4. This is, if you don't know, was the first Resident Evil that changed up and had like a new formula. It had the more over-the-shoulder third-person style Resident Evil, which 4, 5, and 6 have done.
1998.
And
I'll never forget it.
so Resident Evil isn't just like a good like action survival horror thing. It's also like the dumbest fucking schlocky 80s B-movie action horror thing, which is probably what elevates it from just being like, yeah, really good to like something I'm never gonna forget. Because the protagonist of this game, if you don't know, is Leon Kennedy. He was one of the dudes he played as in Resident Evil 2. And he's just got the best, worst one-liners in this game.
The President of the United States ordered a contingency plan to sterilize Raccoon City.
Written in a way that feels... I have a hard time believing that sometimes Resident Evil isn't like incredibly self-aware because it's so consistently cheesy and stupid no matter what it's trying to do. People in the chat tell me Resident Evil is a very serious and stoic game. I will say some of the characters are definitely very serious and stoic.
6 years have passed since that horrendous incident.
And yeah, Coldman in the chat saying this intro is hilarious because it doesn't matter, and it really doesn't. Like that whole recap of what happened has, for 99.9% of the game, does not fucking matter at all.
Assume the responsibility of protecting the new president's family.
Why am I the one who always gets the short end of the stick? Yo.
And unfortunately, I would love to give you guys subtitles for these cutscenes, but weird thing, this game does not have subtitles for the English VO. If you switch it to a different language, they have subtitles for it. They just never made subtitles for the English cutscenes, it seems.
To search for the president's missing daughter.
What? All by yourself?
I'm sure you boys didn't just tag along so we could sing Kumbaya together at some Boy Scout bonfire. Then again,
maybe you did. Like, all the dialogue is just so weird and stupid. Like, Leon's trying to be like this coolest dude ever, and he's not. Slim Noid, did they change the subtitles for the PC release? I don't think so. Because I don't recall seeing subtitles in the original. Because when this game first came out, it was for the GameCube. It was a GameCube exclusive that eventually came out for the PS2, and then the Wii, and then the PlayStation 3, and now it's on 360 as well, and PS4, and Xbox One, I think, soon, and Steam. It's on everything.
Apparently, she's being withheld.
And in every single version of it, I've never seen English subtitles except for like the codec call things.
It's freezing. So cold all of a sudden.
It is not on the TI-89 graphing calculator, unfortunately, Manny.
Must be my imagination.
But, funny thing, there are some really weird ports of Resident Evil games. Resident Evil 2 specifically, you know, it was a PlayStation game, right? It was eventually on GameCube. It had like a port. Actually, that's right. RE4 is on iPhone and Zeebo. But the Resident Evil 2 specifically has a port to a handheld gaming device that I feel most people, even in the chat, that people who have listened to my stuff before don't know exists. It's called the Game.com. It was like a early 2000s handheld thing, I think.
Tickets.
And
Parking tickets.
so imagine you have like a 120 by 120 LED pixel display like on a graphing calculator, and try fitting Resident Evil 2 on that, but in also black and white graphics like a Game Boy.
I'm Ingrid Hunnigan.
It's it never released, I think, but you can at least find lots of footage of it, of what build there was there, and it's fucking incredible that they try to get that to work on something like that.
Whoever this group is, they sure picked the wrong girl to kidnap.
I'll try to find some more information on my end as well.
Good. Talk to you later. Leon out.
I like that in parentheses. I should check out that file that he doesn't actually say. Yeah, there's only subtitles for like those codec calls and like that opening thing. It's really strange. But yeah, Resident Evil 4. I love it. It's really fun. It's really stupid. It has a lot of cool details, especially for a game that came out during its time, which I think was like 2004 or 3 or something like that. It just had a lot of really amazing, like, weird little details. And also, like, you can talk to these guys even though you don't need to.
Huh. Forget your makeup or something?
Forget your makeup? Well, I'm just leaving. Later.
Not that way, cowboy.
And yeah, somebody was informing me, I forgot about this, the Game.com handheld device that I mentioned is not actually pronounced the Game.com, even though it's how it's spelled. It's just pronounced Gamecom. And that's how the handheld would say, that's what it would say every time you turned it on. It would be like, Gamecom, because it had really low quality voice clips in it. Pro tip, second you start, shoot these crows. For some reason, a very large portion of the crows in this game have items inside of them. Sometimes money, sometimes jewels, and also sometimes grenades. That's just how these birds roll. It's just what these birds like to eat, okay? And something else. Actually, no, I'm gonna save that for later once we get past this initial bit.
Excuse me. Sir?
It's cool guy Alex was gonna be on the stream, but he could not make it. He had a little family emergency pop up. Everything's fine, but he just had to leave, so unfortunate.
Freeze! I said freeze!
So the best thing about this game are the melee moves. 4 was the game that introduced wrestling moves to your abilities in the Resident Evil series. I mean, you know, I did a roundhouse kick in that fucking dude. Later in the game, you get enemy types that you can suplex, and it's like one of the best melee moves because it almost always makes their head explode. You can also suplex them downstairs, and I swear to fucking God, suplexing a dude on the stairs does way more damage. I think it's just a confirmation bias, just because the suplexes are so fucking cool, but... Alright. So the first bit of combat here, also some skulls. I hope Ashley's okay. Me too, Leon. Yeah, so this was the first Resident Evil 4 that had this style camera angle, which was also a camera angle that kind of became a big thing and kind of popularized in some ways how a lot of later third-person shooters worked. It directly inspired Cliffy B when he made Gears of War. He cited this game as an inspiration for the very first Gears of War. And yeah, just this general over-the-shoulder aiming style was something that felt really new. Because there were, I mean, you know, there were... missing with my knife. there were third-person shooters a lot earlier than this game, but all of them, the character just centered right in. You know, the crosshair kind of just hovered a little bit above their head, maybe. So when this game first came out, it felt like crazy new and like something nobody had ever quite seen before. Also, you don't really have a aiming reticle. You just got to rely on your laser sight that all your guns have. So the oh, that's right. Actually, if you go back here, now that in that previous cutscene, you heard like that truck spinning out, and see that our buddies are missing. Oh no. That's all I got to say about that. So, yeah, on top of this game getting ported a shitload, when it was on the Wii and then on the PlayStation 3, which had the PlayStation Move, they added motion controls, so you pointed to aim instead. And actually, really good controls. The Wii version and also the PlayStation Move version, really nice to control with that style of aiming. It makes it a little easy, but it feels really good. And it also it added some other nice little convenient things, like you could just, like, I'm not huge in motion controls, but if you just, you know, just wave the Wiimote or whatever, you just immediately swipe with your knife, where in here you have to like stop, pull it out, swing the knife. And like removing this delay of just pulling the knife out and just instantly swiping at dudes was like super helpful for combat, because the knife doesn't do a huge amount of damage, but you can definitely use it to finish enemies off, and it's really good for conserving ammo, which, depending on which version of the game you are playing, you may have more or less ammo. The GameCube version, you had less money, more ammo, and when it was ported over to the PS2, they switched it around, so there was more money to pick up, but there were less ammo drops. That crow had a hand grenade in it. These skulls looks like some kind of warning. Just saying. And yeah, Grog fell in the chat saying the demo of RE4 also had a lot of different things, like the I mean, this is the inventory screen, and in the demo it had the classic like Resident Evil inventory, where you just had like 6 to 8 slots that you just cram stuff into. And yeah, they eventually went with this more Tetris-y thing, where you can rotate stuff and you just kind of have to figure out how to jam as much stuff in here as possible, which I personally love. I love inventory Tetris. It's a mini game unto itself. But yeah, there was that. There was no dedicated button for swinging the knife or anything. And I'm gonna be a good American and help this fucking dog. You don't need to do that, but doing it is great because that dog helps you later in a boss fight. Unfortunately, we won't see that on the stream unless I stream, you know, for like 3 hours or something like that, because it's the second boss fight of the game where that dog comes back, which also gives you the really great line from Leon midway through the boss fight. Hey, it's that dog. And he's very happy about it too. Like, he's fighting this huge fucked up like giant monster man, and then the dog just appears and he goes, hey, it's that dog. I know that dog. The dog's also there just to show you that there are these traps. There's bear traps. There's dynamite traps. Don't be a dummy and walk in one of those. Work overtime and just stream more Resident Evil 4. Well, that does sound pretty cool, but I don't think I can do that. Also, that dog is another Capcom Easter egg when it appears later in the boss fight. It has a little symbol on its forehead, and it's the same symbol that you see in Okami, which was another Capcom game that came out around a similar time, because Capcom was working on all these crazy games at the same time back in like the early to mid 2000s. They actually, whoa, watch out. They call it the Capcom 5. I forget what all the games were in the Capcom 5, but not all of them were actually developed. I believe there was Resident Evil 4. I'm pretty sure that was one of the Capcom 5. There was Beautiful Joe. There was Okami. And then there were 2 more, and I know at least one of them was never released. It was like a weird action combat game that was like kind of looked like what a Kid Icarus game could be if you made it grittier, more realistic. Because you were like some dude with huge angel wings flying around and shooting at stuff. Dead Phoenix, that's right. And yeah, Killer 7 and PN03. Whoa, hey, I'm talking about video games here, mister. PN03 was also... So all those released except for Dead Phoenix. I cannot believe I forgot about Killer 7 because I love that game. Which is also another Capcom Easter egg / reference that's in this game. One of the later pistols you can buy is called the Killer 7. Or maybe it's a Magnum. But it's one of the guns one of the Smiths uses in Killer 7. I believe it was Kaede's gun. It's been a long time since I've thought about Killer 7 this much, but that's a crazy game that I can understand why nobody can play it because it's the most baffling, confusing thing ever. But yeah, like some people have been noticing, you know,
Leon, how you holding?
this game looks a lot older than it used to.
Sorry to hear that. I'm sending you a
Also, Grogfella, yeah, you're right. The regenerator enemies later in this game are basically identical to the Heaven Smiles, the enemies that are in Killer 7. But yeah, this game, when it first came out, was like nuts how good it looked, especially for a console game. Like, it was fucking crazy how like real it looked. I still think a lot of it holds up just atmosphere and art direction wise, and the character models are still okay. Their motion capping for the cutscenes still looks pretty good in my opinion. It's a little goofy. It's a little bit of the weird Japanese theatrical acting in there. But yeah, like textures and, you know, poly count and stuff is starting to look a lot rougher, which reminds me of talking about even more modding stuff. There are 2 dudes who have been working for over 2 years on a high definition texture and modeling mod for the PC version of this game. And it's actually like extremely impressive how good it looks. To the point that I almost feel like these guys must be just professional texture artists that are doing this in their... I mean, they're doing the project in their off time, but whoop. But their website is re4hd.com. You can see like tons of comparison screenshots. Oh man, that fucking thing in my face. You can see tons of comparison screenshots, and it's like insane how good their texture work is. And like they're not just, you know, upgrading the textures to look a lot nicer. They're also like fixing bugs with some textures, like misaligned textures. There's like normal maps for some... Oh shit, that guy was not staggered enough. I'm about to die. Because I'm talking too much about mods. It's just ridiculously impressive. They're eventually going to get around to like changing character models and stuff to look better. They actually have a playable demo of their mod that you can download that like changes all of the environment textures and models and stuff. Like the first third of the game is for this whole village area of the game. And it's just super impressive. Like they have a stats page on their website that just details like how much work, like just man hours, and between the 2 of them, they put in something around like 3,600 hours. Like it takes a long time, especially because they're doing like research on the textures, because there are tons of textures. Because this game takes place in Spain, a ton of the textures here are basically straight from photo reference of actual things in Spain, and one of the dudes working on this retexture mod lives in Spain, so he's just walking around finding the actual places that the devs who made this game use to make their textures, and then he's just making way higher resolution versions of those textures. It's just super impressive. I also need to push this ladder down. Whoop. And this is one of the things I love about this game, is just the things you can interact with and the way enemies react to shots is, and just the level design, especially for the village stuff, get down, is just extremely impressive. You know, all the enemies react differently depending where you shoot them. This is good because you can pull up different melee attacks depending on where you shoot them, which is good for doing a lot of damage, also conserving ammo. And I also need to watch out for the chainsaw guy, because I have the volume cranked down pretty low. And the sound of the chainsaw revving up is the main thing to tell you, like, watch out, this motherfucker's coming. So, I need a shotgun for this. So hey, maybe if I don't hear the chainsaw guy, maybe you'll get to see the crazy beheading animation, which was really surprising that made it into a video game, because that was like super gory. There's a pro trick here with the chainsaw guy, whose name is El Salvador, I believe. In that you're on a time limit here. You just have to hold, it doesn't tell you, but you just have to hold out surviving this encounter. Whoa, there he is, for a certain amount of time, and then all the enemies will leave. But if you can manage to kill this dude before everybody leaves, he drops a ton of money, which is great. Okay. Got him with one grenade. Wait for him to get up here. Oh, that grenade's gonna bounce way too much. I gotta get back over here. Okay, good. Oh, shit! This is what happens when I cannot hear the enemies coming up next to me that well. I'll just use a normal green herb. I should probably get off, because if I do not reload in time, that dude's totally gonna behead me. Also, when enemies... Oh, he's tripped up here. Too bad for him. Enemies can throw their weapons at you, but you can shoot them just straight out of the sky with your gun, which is also like a really impressive thing for the time. Oh, I couldn't kill him in time. This stream's really intense because my face cam is blocking the health bar. Yeah, I thought about that, but I figured the health bar wasn't super important, so... And here's a really good line from Leon in just a second.
Where's everyone going?
Bingo. Also, yeah, there's a second chainsaw guy you can trigger as well. They both drop like $10,000, I think.
I've confirmed the body of an officer.
Something's happened to the people here.
Leon, you need to get out of there. Look for a tower and follow the trail near it.
Got it.
So, that in like a nutshell is basically why Resident Evil is so good, because it's not generally a super scary game. There are a couple actually like spooky moments, but the game just does this really good job of building up a lot of tension and atmosphere, mainly just based around all the dudes swarming at you and trying to survive. And that it still feels like horror to me. It's just a way different type. And now, before I leave this area, there's a ton of extra stuff to grab. Because this is the only time you're in this area, but there are a lot of places to go that have a lot of extra stuff, and a lot of different places where you could like barricade yourself in to like protect yourself from enemies and stuff. It's just really cool stuff like that. Oh man, nothing in that barrel. And this is where the incendiary grenade was. I kind of wish I would have grabbed that for the chainsaw guy. I should also mention this game has been... Oh wow, this cow's actually alive. This cow dies a lot during the fight, but I mean... Oh wow! Okay, I just killed the shit out of that cow. I was waiting for that cow to kick me, because they can totally kick you from behind. But well, I guess I just murdered a cow instead. So what I did there's 3 different types of herbs. Green ones heal you. Red ones you combine with green herbs so that you get a full heal out of it. And the yellow one just increases your maximum health, which you can't see, but you can upgrade how much health you have by eating yellow herbs. If you combine all of them, you get something that heals you to maximum while also increasing your maximum health. It's really useful. And yeah, maybe people who have not played this game or got into games later, I don't know if there's anybody that young in the chat right now. Yeah, you cannot strafe. There's no strafing in this game. You rotate in place, and you shoot and swing your gun in place. You cannot move while aiming and shooting. This is essentially the exact same tank controls that were on all the previous Resident Evils. It's just now the camera's attached to you instead of being a static camera angle, kind of from above. Which turns out makes tank controls feel a lot more natural. And yeah, per Resident Evil tradition, all the bad guys write all their evil plans and notes you can find and read. This one being like, hey, yeah, we totally kidnapped the American president's daughter. Let's kill the shit out of the dude that's coming to save her. All right. Like, it's just a memo that says, like, if you don't know where we put the president's daughter yet, she's right here. And Account in the chat, I agree. I kind of like tank controls. I wouldn't want tank controls for, every video game, because that would be horrible. But for certain more atmospheric horror things where you're supposed to be more... The enemies are supposed to be more of a threat, like you're just a regular human being, giving you some kind of clunkier movement to counteract the fact that generally when you're in a video game, you're super powerful and it's easy to run circles around enemies. That adds some extra tension, in my opinion. Yeah, tank controls have their place, but not with most video games. And yeah, Big Patriot, tank controls make you panic more, which makes sense when it's supposed to be scary and you're not supposed to be surviving that easily. Yeah, tank controls not good for like Grim Fandango, I would say. Here's the treasure. If you just try and shoot it now and pick it up, it's gonna get all fucking gross, so you should probably shoot the support beam down first. Now the treasure is clean, which means it'll also sell for way more money than if you just got it when it was dirty. And yeah, Noel Shirai also talking about in earlier Resident Evil games, you generally had limited saves. Yeah, that was another thing that was a little tense. I played Resident Evil 1 for the first time, like, last summer. I played the remake of it. And yeah, when you have limited saves, it's a little tense. Although, if you explore even a little bit, like, there's a pretty decent amount of actual ink ribbons to get to do more saves. But just the idea of it stresses you out, even if you know you always have enough saves to save basically whenever you want. Now, like I didn't drop anything. So, if you're looking at the promo picture for this stream on Twitter, or at the beginning of this stream before I started, and wondered, why am I holding an egg? Because you can equip eggs. You can eat that egg and get a little bit of health back, but also you can just throw eggs at people. Oh man, another egg. Whoop. I'll wait for when there's one guy so I can nail him with an egg. Wow, that guy's low resilient. Probably should have just knifed him. Let's just use a white egg, because the brown eggs actually heal you more than the white ones do. Oh wait, no, I ate the fucking egg! Son of a bitch! I didn't mean to eat the egg, I meant to throw the egg. Let's try and not miss with the egg either. God damn it! I miss with my eggs. But yeah, there's white, brown, gold eggs that sell for a lot of money, and then there's rotten eggs, which like instant kill most enemies in the game if you actually get one. Whoop. And yeah, once this game came out, you know, it changed how Resident Evil games played forever, basically. 5 and 6 came out, that each one progressively got more action-y. And it's kind of nuts to see Resident Evil 7 come out, and it's straight up like a first-person horror thing. I played the demo. It was really interesting, mainly just because it really feels like... it feels a lot like PT, if you played that before Konami took it down. And it's just weird to... Like, it still feels kind of Resident Evil to me just because of the things you do in the demo, but it's still really weird that they actually shifted that much... into just straight up like survival horror stuff again rather than like action horror. Also, this game has quick times, back during the day when quick times were not a thing in video games. Yeah, this game, when it came out, like quick times were like a bullet point on the game. And it was like a kind of a cool novelty. Like the only other game that had quick times was like Shenmue, which did come out before this, and then there was Die Hard Arcade, which also had like quick times in between levels where you just had the advantage of like clotheslining a dude while running down a hallway to get an advantage at the beginning of the fight. But I remember thinking like, oh man, the quick times in this game are really cool. I know some people get sick of quick times, but I still think quick time events can be really good if you do them right. The quick times in most Platinum games are pretty awesome. I should probably not knife the spider and pay attention to the guys that have infinite sticks of dynamite. God. Oh god. Get that. Okay. Yeah, you can shoot the sticks of dynamite out too. Even when it's still in their hands. Like that. I can't remember if the spiders actually give you anything. I don't think they do. Whoop. Bear trap. Watch out, Leon. And yeah, it was just, well, another bear trap. The emphasis this game put on traps and stuff, especially in this beginning area where it's all like improvised stuff, was another pretty... Whoa. Hey there. Whoa! Okay. We're good. Yeah, it's weird playing this because I've played through the game maybe... I mean, it's one of my favorite games ever, so I probably played it all the way through to completion like 8 times across a couple different platforms. And it's been probably since I was like a sophomore in college since I last played this game, so it's been 6 or 7 years, I think. It's weird playing this because I told myself I wasn't... Oh, wait. I almost forgot about a thing. I told myself I wasn't going to play this game until that HD texture mod was finished, but I just cannot resist the allure of bringing this game back up, especially since that Resident Evil 7 demo's out and people were talking about that, and it just got me thinking about this thing again. But yeah, that thing, the bird's nest. If you missed that, that's the only time you can get it. All these treasures that you find in the game you can sell to get more money to upgrade your guns and all that. But some of them it's actually better to keep around for a while because you can combine them together into a treasure that will sell for more. So there's 2 more gems I can find here I can stick into this beer stein. And then it'll sell for way more money than if I had just sold them individually. I actually got to this part of the game faster than I thought I would. Wow. Okay, yeah. First time I played this game, I ran headfirst into this one, just because it's kind of around a blind corner. Well, the downside of being far away from the TV means also the instant I say I almost ran into dynamite, I run into dynamite. But hey, it gave me an excuse to increase my maximum health. So, you know, when life gives you dynamite, increase your maximum health, or however the saying goes. I don't know. My hubris. Yeah, it shows how long it's been since I played this game, because I did not remember that one. This is a game where I generally remember almost every single thing in it, so...
Little rough, don't you think? You're not like them?
RE4 just has a lot of really goofy characters that I love, too. Like Lewis.
Okay, I have only one very important question.
I'm actually kind of surprised that,
Got gum.
So I was thinking about the Resident Evil series in general earlier, trying to describe what they were as a whole, because, you know, they change gameplay-wise throughout all of them. They become more action-oriented until 7. But the plots and the dialogue are super melodramatic and campy. Most of the time it feels unintentionally. So I can't just say like, oh, it's like a self-aware, goofy game with good action or something. And I've suddenly realized, like, with all the recurring characters and the melodrama associated with them and like how convoluted the plot became from 1 through 6 and all the other side games in between. This game's honestly like the soap opera of video games. Like, if you think about all the stuff that happened with like Chris or Leon, but Chris especially, and like Wesker, and how characters die all the time and they always come back a couple games later. Like, it's straight up just a soap opera. Right? People in the chat think I'm right too. I think that's an observation nobody's ever thought of or had with Resident Evil. It's totally the soap opera of video games.
You want to tell me what's going on here?
Americano, see? Now what brings a blow?
Is Leon Wesker's baby though? I mean, you play as Wesker's baby in 6 for one of the campaigns, so I'm gonna say no.
Came here looking for this girl. Seen her?
I'm Chastis in the chat. Am I the developer of Saints Row? If so, you love me. I mean, I work at Volition, and we did develop Saints Row games, so I did not personally work on any of them. I got hired a little over a year ago, so
Let's do good for a guess.
they were all out by the time I started working here.
Psychic powers. Nah, just kidding with you, amigo. I overheard one of the villagers talking something about the president's daughter in the church.
I'm very glad I was able to get to this point in the game, though, because it lets me, before... Well, we have about 14, 15 minutes left. I really wanted to be able to show everybody the absolute best character in this game. And this is the point where he shows up in just a few minutes.
Policia, you put your life on the line. Nobody really appreciates you enough for it. Being a hero isn't what it's cracked up to be anymore.
Also stuff like just a second ago in the cutscene where you see like the cockroach going across that wooden support beam. It just felt like stuff like that I hadn't really seen in details like that. I hadn't seen in cutscenes before in games. Like the only thing I could really think of beforehand is like
With the viral outbreak, right?
the Metal Gear Solid games had a lot of detail-oriented stuff in their cutscenes, but
Lab at the department.
even this felt like on a different level from that most of the time.
Do something, cop!
After you.
Now.
I almost forgot there were quick times in the cutscenes. That was really close, you guys. But that's another thing, like, you know, some games, you know, have QuickTime events on them, but I feel like everybody has decided we're never putting QuickTime events in cutscenes, which this game does a lot. So you can never put the controller down, because at any point, somebody could just throw a fucking knife at your face, which totally happens! A dude throws a knife straight at your face, out of nowhere.
What happened to him?
He managed to escape.
Do you have a fix on the location of that?
And I'm Chastis, yeah, I'm playing this on PC, so yeah, it's 60 frames.
In the village, it leads there. I'm heading back to the village.
Alright. Now, something I wish I could have brought in for this stream if I owned it, I've never even seen one in real life, is, I can't remember if it was a special edition of this game or if it was a completely separate thing you had to buy that was only out for a limited amount of time. Here's my favorite guy. But there is a special controller released for, like, Resident Evil 4 style controller that was released for the GameCube, and it was a big fucking chainsaw. Like a full, like, it was a chain, like, as big as a normal ass chainsaw, but, like, you had to hold it like this, and it had, like, all the GameCube buttons on it, but it was, like, a 5-pound controller. It was amazing. Like, it had blood all over it, too. It was great. I've always appreciated the, like, really stupid, like, special edition controllers. I mean, like, the ones you see now is just like, okay, like, it's a 360 controller, but, like, it has a skin on it. Like, oh, it's the Marvel vs. Capcom one. Wolverine's right over here. But there were a couple games that had very, like, weird, unergonomic, awful controllers that you could get. Like, well, actually, I'll speak after this guy's done.
Got a selection of good things on sale, stranger.
The Merchant in Resident Evil 4 is one of my favorite NPCs from any game. He only has a couple voice clips, but I love the look of him. I don't know how he gets from place to place so quickly. He's just great.
What are you selling?
What are you selling?
What are you buying?
What are you buying?
What are you selling?
Oh, I have 5 of those?
Okay. Thank you. I'll buy it at a high price. Thank you.
All right. Also this one.
What are you buying?
Oh, no, it's just what are you buying? I thought he had something for tune-up, too. So, one of the very first streams I did once I started working here was when we had everybody come in here to do the multiplayer for the Wu-Tang Clan game. And that game had a special controller that was just the Wu-Tang W in controller form, and like it looked extremely painful to hold because, you know, one side of the W is way fucking bigger than the other side. That controller is real dumb, and I kind of want to own it. Also, yeah, somebody in the chat asking why is the Resident Evil 4 merchant never come back? I don't understand. They bring back characters all the damn time in these games, and the merchant's never once been seen again since RE4. It's such a fucking shame. Also, I just love how this game had like lots of little tricks you could figure out with the mechanics, such as, like, oh, if I upgrade the capacity of my shotgun,
Stranger. Thank you.
my shotgun gets completely refilled with more ammo, because you cannot buy ammo in this game. So, like, if you fire all the rounds in your shotgun, you have 0 rounds left, and then you upgrade the capacity, he completely fills it up with shotgun ammo, which is awesome. God, I don't actually remember how I used to go with the upgrade path in this game, because it was not possible to buy all the upgrades for all the guns in this game in one playthrough, which was also a cool thing, because this game had a New Game Plus where you could carry all your stuff over to the beginning of the game and continue upgrading everything to maximum.
Is that all, stranger? Thank you. Is that all?
Maybe reload
stranger?
speed?
Thank you. Is that
Probably
all?
just reload
stranger?
speed. It's actually kind of important for me.
Is that all, stranger?
I'll just save the rest of my money. Yeah, there's also the strategy of never upgrading any of your guns until you get to the castle area where new versions of the handgun and shotgun and rifle show up. The interesting thing is, even though there's multiple handguns and like the ones that show up later just generally feel like, oh, there's the superior ones, when you fully upgrade a gun in this game, they always had like a special unique upgrade that could only be it was unique to that gun. And so all the different guns always ended up being kind of really good for different purposes, even the different handguns. There was the what was it? There's a shotgun in the game that you could get called the Striker. That was just like a big magazine-fed shotgun, so you didn't need to reload nearly as much. And the unique upgrade for that gave you like 200 rounds in the magazine before you had to reload, which also means you just got a shotgun with 200 rounds loaded into it, which made it basically the best shotgun in the game. Oh yeah, that's right, I need the rifle. I hope I did not buy too much stuff and not buy the rifle. For some reason I thought I just picked up the rifle in this area.
What are you buying?
That's $12,000, I'm an idiot.
What are you selling?
Well, look at me being a dumb idiot. Well, I could sell some stuff maybe. How much is it again?
What are you buying?
12,000, that sucks. Bam, 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 bam.
Selling. Is that all, stranger? Is that all?
Yeah, I can sell my grenades and be okay, but I'm still a little short. I need another 1,300. If only I had eggs to sell. Handgun ammo? Yeah, I guess let's just sell some handgun ammo.
Is that all? Thank
Wait,
you.
2 more.
Is that all? What are you buying? Is that all?
Exactly 12,000. There we go.
Come back anytime.
I've never actually played through this part of the game without getting the rifle, so that would have been an interesting thing. This game also had some really satisfying reload animations, I gotta say. Especially for the rifle here. Just kind of flicking that thing out, seeing the cartridge eject. It's great. Good gun feel in this game. That reload animation too. Like, holy shit. Whoops. Just the way everything reacts to gunshots and stuff is insanely satisfying. Headshots are ridiculous too, because it honestly looks like the way heads blow up in the game makes it look like you're smashing a pumpkin with a sledgehammer or something. Okay, one more guy. Position myself right. There we go. Alright, that works. Yeah, Grogfella, I agree. The game just has really good pacing. It introduces stuff at like the right time. Yeah! I love making dudes fall off too. Okay, thought it was gonna be a Dynamite Man for a second there. Oh god, a Dynamite Man! Get out of there, please. Okay. We're fine. Oh, another Dynamite Man though! Oh, come on, get stunned. Whoop! Yeah, it's just... I've said a lot about this game, but it just... Everything about it was so well done. And it's one of those things where... So there's some other games that I feel the same way about, obviously, like... Kirby Superstar for the Super Nintendo. Like a near perfect game for me, honestly. And it gets to the point where, like, just because everything else is so good, you just start... I remember sound effects from games. Like, if you've played any sound effect from 4, I would probably immediately go, yo, that's from Resident Evil 4. Even though most of the sound effects are probably just from sound banks they had the rights to use. Holy shit, that guy's taking a lot of shots. Thank you for the dynamite. Okay, running out of rifle ammo, unfortunately. Coldman Hot. I have played a little bit of Kirby Planet Robobot. It's very good. I'm only halfway through the second world though, so I haven't gotten to like the really crazy shit that I hear people say is in that game, but it's a good Kirby game. It's really hard for a Kirby game to be bad in my opinion. Yeah. I'm sad I don't have a save at a point in the game where you can do the do suplex. That doesn't you can't do the suplex move until the cultists show up in the castle area. Ah. Oh, that guy's still alive. Hold on a second there. Hey there. All right. Yo, I don't think you guys can hear it, but man, people in the room behind me are having a fucking blast playing ping pong right now. I don't know who it is, but man. Whoop! Pitchfork! Ah, pitchfork. Fucking hell. I'm out of practice, man. Wow, I am fucked. Yep, I'm dead. Wow, exactly 5:01 p.m. though. That was really good timing for me to die, because now I can say, hey guys, thanks for watching the stream. I am from Volition. This is the studio of Volition. Generally there's other people in here, but right now I just got a box and a board to keep me company. We stream every Thursday at 5 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Central, 2 p.m. Pacific, 22 GMT. And from now on, at the beginning of every stream, we'll also be doing the Mayhem Minute, which I did today as well. We'll be giving you a little bit of some updates, what's going on with Agents of Mayhem, or maybe we'll have a little bit of show at some point. And yeah, just tune in every week. At the beginning, we'll just do a little brief thing to tell you what's going on with the game. I'm Josh Stinson. I'm the Associate Video Editor and Stream Czar at Volition. And we also had Mike Watson, our community developer, moderating the chat, being a cool dude. And yeah, thanks for coming, everybody. I'll see you next week. Probably with a human being next time and not just a board with a face on it. So actually, I forgot to say this is Chipboard. This is Chipboard. You've probably seen him before. You've seen other streams. He's here every week, sometimes off frame. But yeah, thanks for watching, everybody. See you next week.